Hi everyone, welcome to another little video. As we're getting towards the end of the year now, it's the start of December. I thought maybe I'd make another video, do a few little sums, just to see how my system's performing, what I'm saving, and just see how things are going. It's now pretty much been 12 months since I switched to the Economy 7 tariff on Octopus. So we should have a year's worth of decent data. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to be running reports from the 1st of January, just because that's how it works in Home Assistant. If anyone's got any ideas how you can run um, an annual report, or for the last 365 days, from specifying a start and end date rather than just doing last year, then feel free to point me in that direction. But for the sake of simplicity, that's what I'm going to do today is just, run the yearly report. The other thing, I'm not going to take into consideration standing charge because that would be the same regardless of if I had solar panels or not, or whatever tariff you're on these days. It's pretty much 50p a day for everybody. So yeah, so we'll disregard that. So let's make a start. I put together this little spreadsheet with a few kind of questions that I was going to answer myself, and just work through these and do the calculations along the way, which hopefully will be of interest to you, certainly of interest to me. So the first question I was going to ask myself is how much would I have spent on electricity in the last year or since the 1st of January, had I not got solar panels and an inverter and batteries. So let's start with that question. So let's go to the energy dashboard and let's go for this year. And this will take us to, from the start of January. My electricity consumption data is actually my import exports done off a Shelly clamp meter on my tail to the provider, so I know that's pretty accurate, and that actually ties up pretty well with what I get billed. So I'm quite happy to rely on that. The other thing we'll quickly do is, let's start with how much would I have spent had I not had solar panels and batteries. So from the energy dashboard, I can see I used 5,243.5 kilowatt hours since the 1st of January. And for my first calculation, I'm going to pretend that I'm a relatively uneducated consumer and I'd just be on the standard tariff. So if I have a look at what the energy price for that would be, Southwestern, which is where I am, would be 27.118 pence per unit. That actually came down slightly. This is the current rate now, as in December 2023. That rate had come down slightly in October. I can't remember what it was before. It was about 30p a unit, I think. But again, for the sake of simplicity, and just to give myself some rough ideas to work with, we'll assume it was that rate for the whole year, just to keep it simple. So the first cell in my spreadsheet there, what would my cost without any solar or batteries have been? It's literally going to be that number times 27.18 pence. So let's fire up a calculator, and we're going to say 5243.5 times 0.02. Oh, hang on, no, sorry, 0.2718. So I would have spent £1,425 on electricity this year if I was just a regular user without any kind of system at home. So what did we say that was? 1425. Okay, so the next question I was going to ask myself is how much would I have spent on importing electricity given the system that I have if I was on the standard tariff? So again, using that 27.18 pence per unit, and what did I import this year? So let's have a look. So I actually imported 2,553 kilowatt hours. So that would be 2,553 times 0.2718. £693.90. Tell you what, let's call that £694, shall we? So let's say 694. What did I actually spend on importing, given that I am on the Economy 7 tariff. So that gives me 7 hours between half midnight and half 7 in the morning GMT, of 14 pence a unit, I think. In fact, it's on that Octopus webpage. Let's have a quick look. So the tariff I'm actually on is this one here. Yeah, so my overnight rate is 14.45 and my day rate is 34.48. So let's go back to my energy dashboard, and as per one of my previous videos, I set up some time of use energy metering for my energy dashboard. So this is taking readings from my Shelly clamp meter, and it just splits it between peak and off-peak usage and then generates a cost. So what I've actually spent in the last year on imported electricity is those two numbers there combined, so my peak and off-peak. So let's have a look what that adds up to. So 114.20 I spent on peak electricity, and 346.29 I spent on off-peak. Let's call it £460. So let's have a look. What did I actually save by being on Economy 7 versus being on a standard tariff? Ooh. It's going to be that one minus that one. So I saved £234, and that's from a combination of being on the Economy 7 tariff and being able to shift a lot of my grid requirement load from peak time to off peak, but also, as per my previous videos, I've done some automation to determine how much to charge my batteries overnight based on the solar forecast for the next day. So if there's a reasonable solar forecast for the next day, I'd only charge to 50 or 70%. So that's all fully detailed in some other videos. In my other videos, you're obviously welcome to have a look for those, or stick a comment in and I'll send you a link. So the next question is, what did I get paid for exported power? Not a huge amount, if I'm honest, because I don't export a huge amount. I'd rather use it myself. £127.62, and most of that happened sort of May, June, July time. And this year, the summer was pretty appalling here, down on the south coast of the UK. So yeah, it wasn't great, if I'm honest. So let's call that £128, shall we? Let's round it up. Okay. So next is self-used solar. So how much solar energy how much solar power did I generate and use myself? So let's have a quick look back at the energy dashboard. So that would be 3825 was my total solar generation, minus 1242, which is what I returned to the grid. So let's go with that. So what do we say? 3825.2 minus 1242.7. So my self-used solar generated power was 2,582.5 kilowatt hours. So 2582.5. I'm going to put that in a cell over there. 2582. Say 2582.5. 2582.5. And if I sold that back to myself at flat rate, why not? If I was just a regular user, that's what I would have paid, 27 pence per unit. That's and 0.2718. That would have cost me £700, in terms of what that electricity would have cost me. So my solar generation, self-used, I would have paid £700 for if I didn't have the solar panels. So my total savings for the year to date, again, yeah, this is from 1st of January to today, which is 4th of December, are my self-use plus my export, because I got paid for that, plus my Economy 7 savings. So I saved £1,063.92 versus being on a standard tariff um, with no installation. So based on that, given that my system cost me the best part of 15 grand to install, um, it's probably going to take me about 15 years for it to break even, which is a little bit longer than I was expecting. But again, I mean, this year, so the summer was pretty appalling, so probably imported more power than I would have done in a good year. And also the reduction in it, the energy cost from the grid, obviously lengthens the return on investment time. The more expensive electricity is, the more desirable it is to generate it yourself. Um, yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. So feel free to make any comments. Let me know what you think of my calculations. If you've done any of your own and you think they're similar or massively different, I'll be interested to hear your feedback. As always, thanks for watching. Yeah, see you again soon.